on location, live on location.
Yes, sir.
What it do? The Phase On View Podcast, episode 421, man. It's not a real episode without my brother, man. 2025, let's get to it, man. It's our first pod back.
Finally.
Hey, man, finally. Look here, we had a lot of changes and life changes. You got the holidays. I got my newborn son. It's time for us to get back in the lab now.
You out here having kids and whatnot.
Hey, man, you already know, man. Look here, snowstorm. It's a snowstorm outside, man. You know Maryland is not accustomed to this. I was sick as I don't know what, because how do you run out of salt? How you run out of salt? That's what happened, bro. You ran out of salt.
I mean, the same way I guess the fire hydrants ain't working in
Come
California.
on now, but you always got to be prepared. So, but they actually have forest fires. They actually have those things. So they should be well equipped.
But they aren't, and that's
a problem.
That's a huge issue.
It is, but also
somebody
we're
did something dumb. I forgot what it was. I think I had to find it. But
we get all 4 seasons, bro. So you gotta be prepared. We do get all 4 seasons. We don't see snow as much or a snow like this, but we do get all 4 seasons. Have you lost your mind? The salt, like it was over 100 accidents, of course, and you know. The people from the DMV and the PG area, the Maryland area, we can't drive on a sunny day. So what makes you think they can drive on a snowy day? Stay off the road.
Trash. I ain't gonna lie. I drove the last 2 days, not far, but the roads were trash. I was like, goodness gracious.
Trash, bro. And then the back roads. That's what really get me. If you driving any back roads, I suggest you just not even go outside, because the back roads is what really get it.
Yeah.
Like honestly. I do miss those days when I was a kid and the snow days, bro. I used to rack up. Me and my brother used to get paid that money, bro.
Yeah,
that money.
Used to make some money.
Hey, man.
Kids don't do that today. I don't know why. They ain't got no hustle.
Nah, they don't got no hustling, bro. The hustle was different back then. Like, I don't care if it was $5, $2, $10, $15. I'm getting that shovel. I'm getting the snow out of people's driveways, people's yards, bro. That's how you really made your money back then. That was honestly the first type of money I've seen, bro. In my life, when I was about, I'd say 7 or 8 years old, I remember I had like $100 shoveling. Me and my friends or me and my brother would go out in the snow. Get it, bro.
That. We used to do it as a group. We used to like split up.
Facts.
And just tag team a house. Like the 2 of us do a driveway and a walkway.
And then I seen a skit recently. It was just like it showed where if you the youngest or like say if you the youngest or most adorable one, like nah, you go ask everybody. They gonna believe you. You know what I'm saying? They like you. You know, you had that one person. You had to strategize, bro. Get them to go to the door and negotiate. The most I ever got for a house, I think, was like $50, bro. That joint was like the lottery ticket for me at that time, $50.
Cool, $50. We used to do that. We used to do all year round because we used to cut grass. Mm-hmm. And then we used to like rake leaves. We used to charge $3 a bag when we rake leaves. And then when it snowed, back when it did used to snow, we used to shovel snow. Yeah. So we made money all year round during the seasons. But like I don't know, I got pissed when I moved to my new neighborhood because everybody over there had contractors. So I used to get up on Saturday mornings with my lawnmower, walking around, knocking door to door, and everybody already was paying somebody to cut their grass. They used to get on my nerves. I could only cut my grandfather's grass. So I was mad. I was like, all these yards are bigger than the neighborhood I came from, but I can't make no money over here. But I can make money like with leaves and like snow. But in the summer, I was pissed. I was like, man, this is a waste.
I blame technology, bro, because as soon as we wake up, we checking on Instagram, checking on our phones, TikTok, whatever the case may be. We ain't had that, bro. We just had to get up and get it. We had to get up and get it. That's when we was actually going outside. And like I did enjoy that because I did hear about like in DC it was a big snow fight. That was like okay. It was
I saw that. I was like, yo, if I lived in DC, I'd have went.
That was refreshing to see.
I would have went if I lived in DC, but now I'm seeing they out there with their skis. And I'm like, all right, see, this is why gentrification is stupid because y'all look dumb. Like, why y'all outside in skis right now? Like,
what you mean?
There are people in DC.
Oh yeah, actual skis. Yeah, come on.
The national mall. I'm like, see, this is why I know gentrification is stupid because like all y'all white folks out there look ridiculous. This is not that. Like, I can tell y'all not from here.
Absolutely not.
Y'all probably came from a place where that happened, and it's like you probably could ski somewhere.
Only place we got like that in Maryland is Deep Creek. Like, that's the only place for
That's it. You can't, like, there's no reason to be outside at the National
Unless you in deep Maryland, like Frostburg or something. We don't got that over there. I don't know what that's about.
All right, so I found that LA, Los Angeles, they refused to fill the water reservoirs, and now there's no water in the fire hydrants to fight the flames. Oh, that's just incompetence.
See, I'm about to say that's just...
And everybody's confused. And now there's another fire in Eaton. and many people are being affected.
You know how scary, bro. You know how scary that is, bro. Like for real, when you just wake up and like, your whole house on fire or the whole area around you is on fire.
There's a guy that took a video of his house
react?
surrounded by flames. You see that? He was in the house with his dog and his dad, and the house was surrounded by fire.
And it's like, how do you react? And honestly, those fires get so intense. It's nothing really firefighters can do either. You know what I'm saying?
But to not have any water is stupid. When this has happened before, how do you refuse to fill the water reservoirs? This has happened before. And now y'all sitting there, it's just like, that mayor's not getting hired. I just know that. That mayor's not going to get rehired. Whoever that is cooked. And they got to find a way to put these fires out, man. They can't wait for it to start. It's just going to keep spreading. They got to get some people to fly over with some planes and drop whatever. They got to figure it out, but they got to get these fires out.
Yeah, and that it has to be some type of resolve in that. Like you said, everyday people are impacted and affected by that. And you just got to really look at your own situation, because like this snow, like for us, like we could lose power. You know what I'm saying? And then what? You feel me? Like
people's homes and businesses are being burned down.
So it's like you got to be empathetic with other people and what they're going through as well. So recently, let's get started. I don't know where we want to start, but we can start. Yeah, we can start this. Because I didn't talk to you about it, but this is big news right now with the lawsuit against FS1, Skip Bayless, and Joy Taylor. And I want to ask your opinion and your thoughts on that.
First of all, that was a lot. I had somebody break it down on TikTok, and that was a lot. I'm like, yo, the year just started. Like, what is going on? And, you know, I'm not into just believing things outright. You know, I like to wait for all the facts. Mm-hmm. But this is a very detailed account. Mm-hmm. Like, this is extremely detailed. It didn't sound ridiculous. Like, it didn't sound ridiculous. It didn't sound far-fetched. Right. Like, it was just insane. I'm just like, first of all, I don't know. Women friendships are weird because it was like there were multiple instances. Listen to the lady read the quotes. Where just like when Joy Taylor said certain things, I was like, why would you continue to be friends with her? There were multiple instances of that, like multiple. Like when you said,
that's a good point too.
When you brought the inappropriateness up of one thing, and she was like, it's not our job to give her the. At that moment, you should have been like, do I want to keep having lunch with this person? Right. But you kept going to meet her for lunch. And there were multiple times where she kept, like, allegedly, she kept saying all these things that sounded very inappropriate. Like, that's how you think, that's how you feel. Like, at that moment, why would you even want to continue to be friends with her? And sure enough, it hit the fan, and Joy terminated her, and Joy got you fired, according to you. So it was just like, but the signs were there.
But to counter what you're saying, it is a power dynamic too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm not friends with you, if I don't comply to with what you got going on, if I'm not listening to you, you know what I'm saying? You have your foot in the door and I don't.
I don't know. I mean, during that time, I would have found a way to find my way on to another network.
It's two people. I will say that because you, to your point, saying it's very detailed. It's two people in the industry, or as far as a profession, that know everything. It's the security guard and it's the hairdresser. Yeah. The security guard sees everything, and then the hairdresser is gossip. They're around all of the gossip. So that's why I said, for me, it's not far fetched to believe her because it's so detailed to the point where it's just like it's right it's in your face.
I'm just like, I was like, none of this sounds like ridiculous. None of this sounds far-fetched. Like, you know, you read some of those cases, you be like, this doesn't make any sense.
And look, let's talk about this. The fact that y'all pick and choose, these allegations are huge allegations, especially against Skip Bayless. And I think y'all taking it as a joke. You know, you talking about 1.5 million. Y'all just like, oh, I would do this and that. But if it was something, and I don't want to play the race card, but if it was somebody of color, we will be looking at this situation totally different. Because I think they're like laughing and just brushing by the Skip Bayless allegations, but they're on Joy Taylor. They're on Joy Taylor. They're not playing. And
I think it's mostly because she was talking a certain way on her podcast with Taylor Rooks, and so for her to be talking the way she was talking all the while, sleeping her way to the top, allegedly.
That's true.
It does make her look a certain way. And because, like, women don't normally get in trouble for stuff like that. Normally, it's the men. We're the nasty ones. We're, like, disgusting, using our power and groping women. But it's like, well, you know, I don't know. We want to see accountability on this side. What I don't like is y'all keep trying to attach Shannon Sharp to this. And he's not even mentioned in this. The only time he's mentioned in the 42 pages is Skip accusing him of something that he didn't do. Other than that, I'm with Shannon. Shannon ain't gonna do with me.
Facts.
It has nothing to do with him. Like, it has nothing to do with him. Y'all just trying to attach his name for clicks. Like, it literally has nothing to do with him. Fun fact: Emmanuel Acho's dad has preached at my old church multiple times because his pastor, like his dad, knows my pastor.
Oh, and they getting him together.
But I've never met like either Acho brother.
But with Emmanuel, they getting him together too. Cause
yeah, they are.
And look here, when things are out there in the internet, it's not too much deleting you can do. It's already out there in the universe because it was speculation that he was deleting a lot of stuff. Exactly, and a lot
somebody
of people
always notices.
So.
That's the weird thing about the internet. People are weird. Like someone's watching you enough to see when you delete something. For real. It's like what? How do you know that?
They not playing with him. And then also it's kind of like when you hear the clips, it's just like it sounds like you caping for a lot. So yeah, I mean I can see it, and I feel like the real problem.
He was at her crib with no socks or shoes on, bro.
Come on now, you already know that's a telltale sign. You already know that.
Somebody said he was diving head first.
And it's not. And with Joy Taylor, I don't think the problem is that I don't think the big problem is that of course she is alleged that she slept her way to the top. It's the fact that after she got caught, is what was speculated that what she would do. When she got caught, she was basically saying, "No, I'm going to point blame at him, and I'm gonna blame it on SA, or I'm gonna blame it on the R word."
Yeah,
and that's where it gets nasty, and it's even more foul play. Disgusting. You have a lot of people in the industry that sleep their way to the top. That's none of our business. But I feel like the problem with this is first you have people that lost their jobs based on
that you personally got them fired.
Exactly. So you got people that lost their jobs, and then also now you have the other dynamic of this. Like as far as like how this impacts sports analysts and the women sports analysts. So now they get looked at a certain way when they get a position. So it's messed up. And
Jason Whitlock, you are a sick individual.
Yeah, I don't.
Jason Whitlock was on his podcast trying to make it seem like he was making the right decision to stay away from Joy Taylor, as if she wanted to come near him. Like, bro, you see that rack? You see that skin? Just mind your business. It's like, bro, she was not going to approach you. I promise.
These situations happen,
and you had nothing to offer her. Like literally, like you were not like.
You see how nasty people are when these certain situations.
Why do you want to be involved in this anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like nasty. I don't understand. Like why are you even trying to insert yourself in this? Mind your business. Like
for sure. Now Marcus,
that's what's weird to me about it. Like what?
Now Marcus Wiley, he does have a case because he was on the show, of course, prior to Emmanuel getting there and Joy Taylor getting there, but it had a lot to do. He was like in hindsight. I didn't really see it, but now it had a lot to do with him losing his job and losing his position because they had basically like a love triangle. It was the love triangle between Joy, Emmanuel, and alleged the executive at FS1. So it's just like, man, hey, all you can do is just, like you said, wait for all the facts. But I will say it is looking funny in the light because it's so detailed to where it's just like, it's hard not to believe it.
Bro, 42 pages.
42 pages.
42 pages is insane, bro. And this is like a very detailed account. Like she remembered everything from each interaction. It's just like golly.
It goes to show when you gossip, certain people are actually listening and taking in that information.
Man,
mental notes. So we're in the era of the streamers for sure. Max is definitely a popular streamer. He's going crazy.
Not gonna lie, I never heard of him.
Crazy right now. He's going crazy right now as far as the song Pink Dreads that he has with DDG. And again, I think this conversation...
I'm so lost to this.
I think this conversation is more rooted in respect for people's house and boundaries. So technically, in this situation, he had one of these rappers come on his stream, and the Lil Tjay and Fivio Foreign was there. And they were smoking at his residence. I asked him multiple times to stop smoking. Allegedly, it was at an Airbnb. Regardless of anything, it's his space, is what he's paid for. And
he told them where they could smoke.
Exactly. And I feel like when you come to somebody's house and they have rules and boundaries, respect their rules and boundaries. At the end of the day, if you know that you smoke or whatever the case may be, ask ahead of time. And if they say no, then that is a no. Go elsewhere.
I remember
and do
you guys didn't come over the crib, but I remember you asked.
It's a respect factor. It's just like, okay, I have a vice. I do this. If I'm going to my friend's crib, I'm going to ask. If we can't do that, then we can't do that. I feel like certain rules should be followed and respected, and it shouldn't be a big thing about it. And you had a lot of people that were like on the other side is just like
don't bring Asian dolls to
like
yourself.
Don't bring rappers to your stream if they can't smoke.
Girl, what?
That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. If I'm in my space and I don't allow that in my space, then respect it or get out.
And if you can't not smoke for whatever little bit amount of time, that's an issue.
That's an issue in itself too.
Within of itself. Like you said, man. Like he asked them politely that they can't smoke in here. You know, they got the sensors in this joint. Y'all can smoke back there, whatever. and just keep doing it, it's just like blatant disrespect. And he didn't crash out, so they just chose to leave. And it's just like, you know what? At that point, I've been with him like, all right, shoot, bye. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like my issue with weed smokers, and not all, because weed smokers not like this. But my issue with weed smokers is they think everybody, wants to be around it. They assume everybody is comfortable smelling weed or comfortable smelling like weed. Like when you smoke weed, it's a smell, it's a potent smell that everyone doesn't like, and it gets on everyone's clothes. And people gotta go home, be around their families, stuff like that. Like whenever I was around my friends that smoke weed, I made the decision to know that they're gonna smoke weed. I'm not gonna smoke, but I'm gonna be around it, and I'm making that decision, so I can't complain if they're smoking. And it's a lot. I just have to move accordingly. That's on me. But it's just like, everyone does not want to smell weed. So I hate when like smokers pull up and they just immediately they just start.
Right, exactly.
Like don't ask, they just assume that everybody does not want to smell like weed. Everyone does not want to smell weed. And so like if he said you can't smoke, then it's not that deep. Just don't smoke. It shouldn't be that deep. Or go to the back where he said you can smoke if it's that deep for you. Right. If you feel like you have to smoke. But to have a blatant disregard for him and the rules of his home. It's just like, who do you think you are? And to say they don't invite rappers if they can't smoke, like why? What does that mean?
That doesn't apply.
That does not apply.
And then another rule too for me, Hugh,
because there are places that y'all can't go as rappers and y'all can't do that. Like
another rule for me, Hugh, is that because this was alleged that the rapper invited Lil Tjay and Fivio Foreign, they weren't really invited by Max. But my thing is, another point is, if I'm a friend of the person of the house, it is appropriate for you to ask and let your friend know or get permission if they can come into my residence or home. Don't just have anybody coming into my residence or home and then they breaking the rules. Now it's an issue. Now I'm gonna have with you as my friend, and now I'm gonna have an issue with them as well too. So you put me in a bind in a certain situation. Like I just don't like that. It's like,
and if we keep it in the stack, them two ninjas is not famous enough to get away with whatever they want. They just not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not like you Snoop coming in.
Yeah, they're not. They don't have those two don't have enough clout to just get away with whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
Like they don't. Like this little TJ and Fivio. Maybe in New York, y'all cool, but like Fivio was popping at one point. I don't know what happened, but it's just like y'all don't have enough clout to get away with this. I'm sorry.
Facts.
That's just a fact.
And since we talking about house rules, some of my house rules is I feel like for a lot of people, taking off your shoes at the front door. Like that's one of the biggest house rules as well too. What's a house rule for you?
I mean, don't smoke in my crib.
Yep, that's another one.
For me, cause my house is fairly new, but just like just don't like if you move something, just put it back. Like don't move something and then leave it somewhere else. And don't put your hands on my walls. My walls are white, so like if you put your hands on them, it will leave a stain. And it's like I have all white walls everywhere, so just try to keep your hands off the walls because it will stain, and I have to figure out some magical way to get rid of it. But like that's about it.
Another one for me is simple hygiene stuff. If you go into the bathroom, especially if you're a male, put the toilet seat up. So and do not pee all over the toilet seat. Yeah. And if you do, clean it up. You know what I'm saying? Simple things like that. I just feel like certain house rules should just be followed and respected when you're coming to somebody.
I don't mind the shoes for now, because like I've been over people's houses and they got hardwood floors and your feet hurt when you're walking around. Well, again, it's their house, it's their rule. They can do it. Like I respect it, but there are some things I found, like them little things you can have people stick their feet in, and it covers their shoes. So when I get those, then I'm gonna have everybody step in them joints, and then they can walk around with their shoes.
Yeah, my mother don't play that. It's funny because like it's a thing with my mother. Like my mother don't play that. Everybody know when they come in that crib is take off your shoes, put on the socks. We good to go, bro. We good to go. This feud has been going on for far too long, bro. Like I'm talking about decades now. Shaq versus Dwight Howard. Like it's tiresome at this point. Yep. Both are Hall of Famers. Both are legendary and submitted in NBA history. I don't understand. For me, I'll speak to both points, but I don't understand Shaq still, hating on him for this long a period of time. And it's basically stems off of Dwight Howard. When he came into the league, he idolized Shaq, but he wanted to be Superman. And I know Dwight Howard has off the court personal things he got going on that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about right now. It has all to do with what he does on the NBA floor and how he performs. Dwight Howard is a Hall of Fame player. Like, let's not get it confused. Dwight Howard is one of the greatest centers of all time. Yep. He's not Shaq, of course. Shaq is the most dominant and you could say the greatest center of all time next to Kareem. But it's like, at what point does this stop?
Yeah.
And I love Shaq, but as far as like,
I'm with Dwight Howard. I'd be fed up too.
Yeah, I get how Dwight Howard could be like, "Dag, bro, like I've tried to apologize. I've tried to come to you as a man so many times, but it's like, bro, at what point we're just like, why are we still doing this? Why are we still hating you and putting that energy out there?"
It is weird. And then I didn't like Shaq's response because it was just like, it was very dismissive and hypocritical because you try to call him sensitive. And Shaq is like Mr. Sensitive.
Yes.
Coming from somebody who is sensitive. Like, we see him on TNT, they say certain things, he get upset. Like, Shaq is very sensitive.
For sure.
So you calling Dwight Howard sensitive is very weird. But you're being weird, Shaq. Like, you're being weird. You're always talking about him for no reason. Like, he has not done anything. He has not said anything bad about you. He's never disrespected you. But you are always talking about him. And you're still talking about him. And so now you're mad at the fact that he's fed up and he's like, yo, can we talk about this? What do we need to do? And so you're upset at that? Like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And like, honestly, I don't even want it. Like, it would irk me more to try to hear Shaq explain it because it wouldn't make sense. Like, I know for a fact it wouldn't make sense. Like, he's gonna sit there and try to say, I'm trying to, toughen you up. I'm like, nah, I don't want to hear all that.
Yeah, facts.
Especially since he's not even playing basketball anymore. At this point, it's just like, you're bullying.
And it's so uncomfortable.
But,
it's uncomfortable to like. It's messed up too, but it's uncomfortable when like you really can get to see your idols become your rivals. You feel me? Like Dwight Howard has idolized Shaq for a long period of time, and it's like, dag, at what point do I get this your blessing or your a rite of passage? It's just like, just chill.
Or at what point do you just stop? Because he's done it to a couple centers in the league. I'm not gonna lie, it isn't just Dwight Howard. He does it to Rudy Gobert. That one I kind of understand because it's a couple guys that don't like Rudy.
It's a difference between criticism and just
but it's a couple guys. But he also used to do it to JaVale McGee to the point where JaVale McGee's mother was just like, "Yo, like leave my son alone." And then now it makes JaVale McGee look away because like his mother. But I'm like, "Yo, man, like if it gets to a point where someone's mom has to step in and tell you to tell you to relax, even though her son's a grown man, then you're doing too much." So then like when it gets to that point, then it's like, all right, because if somebody was doing that to your kid, at some point you'd have been like, all right, like you've been talking about my son or my daughter for a break and a half now. Like, I'm gonna need you to relax. Like, it got to a point where JaVale McGee's own mother had to like go online and be like, yo, I need you to chill out. Like, or I think she called him or whatever. So it's just like, yo, man, he's done to a couple. It's always centered. It's like you're not toughing anybody up.
It's not even that. And we love Shaq, but it's not even that. He has a history with Kobe. He has a history with Penny. He has a history with a lot of people where it's just like it becomes even more than criticism.
Yo, those stories of him as a teammate, I'm not gonna lie. If he wasn't 7-1, head have been shot. It's just certain things you don't do. Like, I don't care how playful you are, to pee in a bucket and throw a bucket of pee on rookies. Like, what? Like, I don't like if you not you only get away with that because you 7-1. Because that's the time Gilbert Arenas or whoever should have brought a gun to the locker room and be like, yo, man, like, don't ever play with me like that again. Like, for real. Or that story Matt Barnes talked about where he had dude's mouthpiece in his jock strap warming up during shoot around, and then y'all watched him put the mouthpiece in his mouth. Like, yo, man, I'd have fought all of y'all.
Yeah,
it's just some things you don't do in the locker room. Like, and I get we've been in the locker room, we playful, we prank, we do some stuff, but some things is just like, all right, because I'm not talking to none of y'all in that locker room because all y'all saw that, and none of y'all and all y'all let me do that. Like, no, like all y'all not valid at that point.
And that's a good conversation.
It's just like certain things, like, yo, man, he was wild as a teammate.
We played sports for a long period of our lives. That's another conversation that I was having with my family about locker room stuff.
Locker room etiquette.
Don't play that, bro. I don't play that. And that used to blow me in college as well, too, because I never played that. And I was having a conversation with my family. They was like, you never, like, like, as far as, like, taking showers and play food. I ain't never played none of them games in no locker room. We don't play them games, bro. And as a man, you better, like, for real, you better watch out who you playing with, bro. Because I'm not just saying this is a race thing, but I will preference this as far as like Caucasian and white people. They play different than black people. I'll say that. And we've been to PWIs where, we in the locker room type of stuff. I do not play that, bro. I had to piece somebody up about that, bro. I'm gonna leave it nameless, but that was one of the moments, bro. I was just like, yeah. We don't play none of them locker room games. I don't care what you.
Or even in high school, I ain't gonna say their name, but you know what I'm talking about. Those two,
yes.
But they did that with each other. They ain't like it was certain guys they wouldn't do that to. Bro. But it was just like, yo, y'all do that with each other. Y'all want to play them games. Y'all play them games over there.
That manhood stuff,
but
bro,
like,
we don't play that, bro.
It's just like I remember one of my coworkers asked me recently. He's like, so you telling me like when y'all in the shower, you never even like looked at your man? Like, first of all, I don't think our showers worked, and if they did, nobody used them. It was always one person in there by themselves with the lights off, so nobody ever went in there. But second of all, none of us ever showered in there.
Never.
The only time we ever had to shower as a group was like when we played Gallaudet, and Gallaudet is in DC, and it's a 7-hour drive back to Massachusetts. So you don't want to be on a bus for 7 hours, spend on like football game. So you would use their locker room. So you would shower real quick, but you would face the wall, and you wouldn't take a normal shower. You wouldn't sit there for 30 minutes lathering up. It's mad. It's like 50 other dudes. It's 50 other dudes trying to take a shower. So you would sit in front of the wall, look straight, you get all the right stuff, and you move on about to. Everybody know not to look, not to comment, all the other extra stuff. But Shaq walk up to some dude talking about something. Hey Jay, you got a fat ass, man. Like, bro, what? Like we're not playing them games. Like, no, bro.
None of them games.
You face the wall, you shower, you mind your business. Like, we not gonna like, we know what, like, at that point you know what it is. Like, it's just, that's locker room etiquette. So, like, listen, like, it's an unspoken rule. Like, listen,
for sure,
we have to shower. This is how the shower is set up. So we go and shower. We're gonna do it quick. We're not gonna look at each other. We're not gonna talk. We're not gonna have a conversation in the middle of it. And then while we getting changed, we're gonna mind our surroundings while we getting changed until we get our stuff back on. And then at that point, it's like, all right, it's like it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? You move like it's not like it's happening, but you move like it's not happening. Like, it's certain things you just do. This locker room etiquette. It's like quitting. Like that dude that quit. It's like you can't look at that dude ever the same after that.
It's
like,
a certain code as well.
It's a certain code, man. That stuff is important. And so when you're doing certain stuff as a teammate, it's just like, yo, man, like it just don't sit right.
And as far as like etiquette, let's talk about Tyreek Hill real quick. Like, I love Tyreek Hill, one of the most dynamic wide receivers ever. But when you look at this situation, what is the difference between him and Antonio Brown in this situation, or the other player that walked off the field? My only issue with Tyreek Hill is that you took the money over championships. Yep. So you can't sit here and complain about the overall result. Let's keep it real. And then also, I understand you moved to a new quarterback. You're trying to show him his respect. Tua doesn't hold a candle up to Patrick Mahomes. That's just what it is.
He did win one, right?
You made that choice to, yes, he won one. Okay. And then Patrick Mahomes, they just won 2 in a row. Yeah. So it's like you chose the money over, the championships. You cannot get mad. And for you to just check yourself out the game as a teammate, I would be pissed, bro.
He did that? I didn't know that.
So Mike McDaniel tried to figure out a way to like cover it up, but he was just basically like, that was unbeknownst to me. It was like basically like the last drives of the game, you take yourself out. At the end of the day, bro, when you get on this football field, it is no place for you to be a diva. Nope. Simple as that, bro.
He gonna have to have
no matter how good you are.
If he decides to stay, he's gonna have a real man-to-man talk with his whole locker room. He's gonna have to address the whole locker room. Because you can't look at the guy the same after that. You quit on us.
I don't like.
We needed you when you quit on us. Like, at that point, it's like, I don't even want you on my team unless we're gonna sit down and talk about it and address it. Then it's like the Dre Greenlaw thing. Not it wasn't him, but the guy that was behind him. Dre Campbell, I think is his name. It's like, yo, man. Even George Kittle says, like, yo, I've never been around somebody like that. I hope I'm never around somebody like that again. Like, you don't want to be around like in Becca, we used to raid guys' locker when they quit. Yeah. And when guys quit, they'll never come back for their stuff. They just leave. For sure. So we used to raid their locker. Like, you don't need the stuff now. Like, we used to take their cleats, they visor, all type of stuff we could find. Like,
you don't need it. Like, and it's a sign of selfishness, bro. This is a team sport. If you didn't want to play a team sport, then go play golf. Go play a game that's just solo.
Cause you quit on us. Like, that's what it is. It's like, yo, man. I was trying to explain it to my students. Just like, we were learning about emotions at the time, and the very same night, the night before I had the lesson, Dre Campbell had done the thing, so I was able to show them that clip. Like, yo, man, he let his emotions get in the way of it, and he quit on his teammates. And it's like it could cost him his job. He might not play again because who wants that in their locker room? Like, people are looking at you different now. And so to hear that about Tyreek Hill, it's like, yo, man, seriously,
it's disappointing.
If you are going to stay, then you're gonna have to address everybody in that locker room.
And that's where AB's career just it went.
Nope,
it went left.
Exactly. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that in their locker room, man.
No, bro.
I tried to explain that to them about T.O. and like, listen, T.O. was a great player, but it got to a point where nobody wanted to be around that man. Nobody wanted to be around him as a person. It's like it's not worth whatever skill set you can bring on the field. And like I said, a locker room is like a locker room is a certain thing. It's a certain type of bond. It's sacred. It's a different type of level of brotherhood.
Yeah, it's a certain
and
code.
so when guys aren't together, you saw with the Eagles last year, they were not together as a team, and they fell apart at the end of the season because there was all this fighting and arguing back and forth. It happened a little bit this year. They figured it out this year.
Yeah,
but that's like when that's not when like listen, if we not together,
right,
all this falls apart.
Right.
And so like, yo, man, we only as strong as our weakest link. You can't have catching attitudes and quitting on everybody. Like we can't have that. Like if it's an issue, then we can talk about it later. But if you starting to play, then come on, man, we need you to play.
And then also another thing, bro, you just can't. When everything is going good, you know what I'm saying, you got to keep that same energy.
Fact.
When things are going bad, you got to, especially as a leader of the team. Just because things are going good, don't mean just, you know what I'm saying, you can still act the same way when things are going bad.
I'd have been on teams where we only won the last game of the year, like, and everybody was quitting that year, but I didn't do that. I'm just like, we looking at the news like, wow, man, like y'all really jumping ship. Like, yeah, the season is hard, and yeah, we not winning, but it's just like integrity. It's a sense of integrity, man, because you don't ever want to be no quitter, dog. Nah. It's just like not who you are. Like I've had frustrating seasons, but it's just like, nah, man, I ain't gonna do that. Yeah, now I ain't gonna lie, there were some moments. There were some moments where it was just like, listen, if you quit, I'm right behind you. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but also it's not to your point. It's not just a one person decision. Yeah, I'm gonna make.
And it wasn't like it was like so. It was two instances. And if any of my guys from Becca watching this, it was just one practice after the game. Where Coach Licton ran us to the ground. It was some straight BS. We did not need to run like that. And that was like the worst practice ever. I ain't gonna lie. I looked around. It was a couple of us ready to go. I was like, listen, because I ain't gonna lie. I was not important enough to the team to get up and quit. I was like, listen, if Dev or Chop get up and walk away, I'm getting up. Yeah, I was like, all of us, like Malik, all of us wanted to quit that day. All of us thought about like, yo, he was about to quit. Like, yo, I ain't gonna lie. I was about to get up and walk away.
Yeah, you had those moments.
You get out, I'd have been right behind you. I promise you I would have. It was this one other instance at Beck. I forgot. Freaking oh man, I can't think of it right now. But yeah, it was that you have some moments. No, it was so my homie, my roommate at the time, my homie Black Rich. We was at the game, and Coach Facucci said, "Yo, I need a linebacker. And Black Rich goes, "Coach, I'm right here." He goes, "Oh, F you." And then
God.
And so when Rich came out to practice on Monday, we was like, "Rich, why are you here?" And he was like, "Bro, like what you mean? Like y'all my boy." I was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna lie, Rich." Coach looked me in the eye and say, "F me, I'm out."
See, that's different. That's a respect.
But we love Black Rich because he was right. We love him for that because he came back and said, "Nah, I love y'all." So we respected him for that. Like, yo, he came back to practice, but we did make fun of him for it. Like, nah, I ain't gonna lie, Rich. If a coach looked at me there in the eye and said F me in the middle of the game,
that's a totally different. That's a totally different situation.
So there are instances. I ain't gonna lie.
That's plausible.
There are some instances where it's just like, you know what? I'm out of here.
Yeah, for sure.
But that might have been one of them. Had Black Rich quit, shout out to Black Rich. Had he quit, I don't think any of us would have blamed him. None of us would have blamed him for that.
That's a moment where it's just like,
would not have blamed him for that if he walked away. But shout out to him because he didn't walk away. He quit. He played all 4 years. Shout out to him. He didn't walk away. But that was one of the instances we was like, nah, Rich, I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't be here right now.
So we got the NFL playoffs coming. I don't know when they make the MVP decision, but I want to talk about that. The NFL MVP.
Yeah, because Daniel lost it. He cooked. I ain't gonna
lie. I think Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Saquon could be in the conversation, and Joe Burrow. I think those are the four.
What, Jamar Chase?
I think those are the four legitimate ones. Jamar Chase, he definitely has a case because he's the triple crown winner.
This is my issue with the MVP race. Not the race. I think like they need to just change it to the quarterback award because it's like they only give it to a quarterback, and there's only but so much you can do in another position to play. True. Like there's only a certain level of height you can play. Like Jamar Chase is the triple crown winner. He cannot play any better as a wide receiver than this.
Absolutely,
that is it. And so if you're telling me that that's not good enough, then what hope do I ever have of winning this award?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
As a running back, Saquon Barkley, again, being this close, because I think the last non-quarterback to win it was Adrian Peterson, and that was over 10 years ago.
For sure.
And he same position, almost broke the single season record. Again, there is no, like, running for 2,000 yards, Daniel breaking a record. I cannot play any better than this. Leading the league in rushing at this position, I cannot play any better as a running back than this. And if you're telling me that this is still not good enough to win the MVP, then what hope does anyone have to win it? You know what I'm saying? Right. Then there was a couple years where I felt like could have been a defensive guy. There was two guys I felt like on defense could have won the LWR MVP because no one's done it since Lawrence Taylor. J.J. Watt and Aaron Donald. There were a couple seasons where J.J. Watt was legitimately the best player in football.
You make a good case.
And it's just like for a 3-year span. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, yo, man, like again, like we talking about 20 and a half sack seasons back to back to back. Dang, they're about to break Michael Strahan's record. Correct. I think TJ did eventually break it, but it's just like,
and it's unfair.
You can't play any better than this.
And to your point, it's unfair because as a quarterback, you always have the football in your hands. So. And also, you're going to achieve certain type of accolades
you just
that
are,
man. Not going to achieve. But what I will say, in this specific MVP race, 41 touchdowns to 4 interceptions is ridiculous. And then also to break the single season, to break the rushing record of all time is crazy. Lamar has had better stats this year than he did actually last year, which is even astronomical, bro.
But I'm not gonna lie. When Dan broke down Josh Allen's stats, I was like, you know what? Josh Allen probably is the MVP.
I think both. Like
he does have less turnovers than Lamar. No, he doesn't. Lamar. No, I'm saying like overall. Like Lamar's fumbled the ball a couple times.
Okay, got you.
So like overall turnovers, Josh Allen has less. Mm-hmm. He's generated more points per game with less of a roster, stuff like that. So I was like, okay. Total yards. When you think of total yards, I was like, okay. I don't have the whole thing. But when Dan Orlovsky broke it down, I was like, okay, I see it. Because if it is just based off numbers, then there's no need for us to vote. The computer can just tell us.
That's true.
So I don't really care.
And then if you're basing off of numbers, you have a conversation with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and that's another thing. So I don't really have a horse in this race. I think anybody at this point in time could win it. I'll vote for Saquon because that's the running back in me, and I feel like he can't play any better than what he's playing. But what I will say is, like, for me, the only reason I don't really want to see Lamar win it is because if he doesn't beat Mahomes and win the Super Bowl, a third MVP means nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, especially to him, because he don't need, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's no longer going to sway me as a fan. I'm not gonna,
because we know how great he is.
Yeah, like. Yes, he got 3 MVPs, but it's just like, yo, can you win the big one? You winning MVP is the one going to impress me. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point in time for me. So I'm like, now Josh Allen wins it, it'll be his first one. So I'll be impressed. But even still with Josh Allen,
that's fair.
He still needs to beat Mahomes because he hasn't done it yet. It don't even be his fault half the time. But I'm like, listen, if y'all don't like, all this is cool, but if Mahomes wins the Super Bowl again,
it's all meaningless.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
you made a great point with Jamar Chase because to think about it, Cooper Kupp didn't win the MVP. When really Cooper Kupp should have won the MVP. You feel me?
You cannot play any better as a wide receiver than leading in all 3 categories in your respective position. Because you're not going to lead. You're not going to lead in overall touchdowns because you're counting passing touchdowns for quarterbacks. So quarterbacks are going to throw more touchdowns than you can catch. There's other guys on the field. You're never going to lead overall in touchdowns unless it's like unless you're just like ridiculous. Like LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount had like 29 touchdowns. That's a different instance. But you're never going to lead in overall touchdowns. You're never going to lead in overall yards. It's just certain things you just can't do. But in my field, if I lead in every major stat in my field, then it's like, how can I play any better than this? And if it's still not good enough, then we got to change the name of this award.
And then to your point, then also to your point, like as far as like the offensive player of the year, that's another conversation. Like who even wins that? Saquon, Jamar Chase. You have so many people. It's just like regardless of anything, those players are getting slighted. Somebody's gonna get slighted.
Facts.
Somebody's gonna get slighted.
But yeah, like that's my only issue with the MVP because it's like, how can I play any better? And it's still not considered. So it's like, is this just a quarterback award? Let me know. That way I don't have to worry about it. But it's like, I think everybody overall. There needs to be people need to start looking at everybody. Because I feel like Christian McCaffrey should have won it last year. I think we need to start. Whoever votes need to really start looking at everybody position and stop just looking at the quarterback position. Because it's like, yo, man, there's other great players on the field.
Name the quarterback.
You might as well. Because I'm like, yo, it's dudes out here playing out of their minds, yo, to the point where like there's nothing else they can do. They can't play any better.
Correct.
The quarterback could play better. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you lead in every category. If it's not winning games, and it's like that's a knock on Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But as a wide receiver, it's like, yo, man, like I'm leading catches, yards, touchdowns. I can't do anything else.
And I'm playing a position that's dependent on the quarterback.
Yeah, I can't do anything else. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
So like for that still not to be good enough. It's like, what am I supposed to do? It's discouraging.
Now we never going to agree to list. We already know a list of so subjective and based on your opinion, but. Let's see. Did they get it somewhat right this time? So Billboard We're gonna do the top 10 of what they listed, but Billboard 21st Century Top Artists of the Century just came out. Here are the top 10. You have one.
In this list.
We have 1 Taylor Swift, 2 Drake, 3 Rihanna, 4 Post Malone, 5 Eminem, 6 The Weeknd, 7 Beyonce, 8 Justin Bieber, 9 Bruno Mars, 10 Usher. I'm not gonna lie, it's a solid list. You can talk about the arranging of the list, but I don't really have too much fight with this list. Like Taylor Swift, we know. Come on, it's Taylor Swift. Drake, we know that definitely should be on here. Rihanna, Post Malone had a crazy great decade. If you really look back on it, I'm not saying 4. 4, I don't agree with the placing. Eminem 5, I can see it. Weeknd being there for sure. You know the one that's really gonna be talked about is Beyonce. Beyonce is a little high. I expected her to be I expected her to be in the top 5 at least. Justin Bieber, I get it.
My issue is I think it's recency bias and the placement because. Talk about the 21st century. You're not just talking about the last decade. You're talking about the overall 21st century.
That's true.
When I think of the overall 21st century, Jay-Z and Kanye West are top 10.
Ooh, yep.
1,000%.
Lil Wayne too. For me,
even that 1,000%. But we talking about the whole 21st century. 1,000%.
I agree.
Because you're discounting his years from '96, all the years he ran around from '98 to 2003. Mm-hmm. That other run he had, like you're discounting a lot of stuff that he did. Kanye West, you again like. From 2004 to whenever you want to say he peaked at 2016, like is an insane run. So those two for me should have been top 10. I do not think Taylor Swift is one because again, like she became a megastar as of recent, the last couple years. But I'm talking about the whole 21st century. Yeah. She does not go over Beyonce.
She don't go over Drake.
She doesn't go over Rihanna. I don't think she goes over Drake.
I think Drake, and this you can say I'm being biased. I think Drake is one in this. I think Drake is either 1 or 2. And we're talking about 21st century. The top 3.
I think he would. I think he's in the 5 for sure.
The top 3 for me should have been me personally. It should have been Drake, Rihanna, Beyonce. If we're talking about the 21st century, and then you talking about rounding out the 5, it should have been Kanye.
I don't think Post Malone should have been in there. Not over Kanye or Jay.
Nah, not over Kanye.
I don't think The Weeknd should have made it over Kanye and Jay.
The Weeknd should have been in there though.
Yeah, definitely. But not over Kanye. I think Bruno Mars. I don't think that over Usher. That's what I'm talking about. Recency bias.
True.
The whole 21st century, Bruno Mars. Chris Brown should be in here.
Chris Brown definitely should be in there. You're right.
Chris Brown Bruno Mars is incredible. We're talking about the entire 21st century. Yeah. He is not eclipsed Usher. Bruno Mars. He's not over Usher.
No,
for the whole 21st century,
he's not over Usher, but he's in the top 10. He's
incredible, but I'm not putting him above Usher. There's a couple people I feel like this should be switched around. Because I'm talking about this is the 21st century. This ain't the last 10 years. This is the whole 21st century. So we're talking about everybody here on the name on this list has done something in the 21st century. Mm-hmm. So you have to talk about the totality of their career.
It's difficult.
When you think about the totality of someone's career, is a couple of y'all that shouldn't be as high, or is a couple of y'all that shouldn't be here over certain people. That's just my thing. But again, everybody's not going to agree.
Right.
All these artists are very much deserving. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. That's what makes this tough. But I'm like, listen, if I have to compare Post Malone's legacy to Kanye's legacy, I'm taking Kanye.
But to have Wayne and Jay-Z at 29 and 30, no, they have 29 and 30.
Y'all
ridiculous, bro. Come on.
There are not 30 artists better than Lil Wayne or Jay-Z.
That shaped the 2000s just like Kanye and Jay-Z. Them 3 alone, if we be honest, shaped the whole 2000s.
Not even that. If rap has been the number 1 genre for almost 2 decades, you're talking about a guy who's been considered the greatest at this genre. So if this is the guy who's considered the greatest at this genre, to have him at the number 1 genre, to have him at 30 is ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. Off that standard alone. If this is the best genre the last 20 years, and this guy's considered the GOAT at the genre, he can't be sitting at 30.
Yeah. Kanye definitely gonna be.
What was Mariah Carey at?
Dang. I don't know. She's in it though.
Because I'm like, yo, you look at Rihanna. Rihanna had 13.
Dang, that's tough. All right, so
Rihanna had 13 number 1 hits.
Before we move along, let's do our 10. So let's
based off what's here?
Let's just do our 10.
Let's do it based off here, because I can't off the top of my head. I don't know about.
Okay, let's replace somebody. Okay, so for me, 1, I don't want to be biased, but 1 for me would be Drake. I feel like he achieved every single accolade it is to achieve. It's tough. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I'm gonna go for number 2. I'm gonna say Beyonce. For number 3, I'm gonna go. To be honest with you, I'm gonna go Kanye.
Okay.
Number 4, I'm gonna go Rihanna. Number 5, if we're talking about the 21st century, I'm going Chris Brown. Yeah. Number 6, I'm gonna go Wayne. Number 7, I'm gonna go Jay-Z. Number 8, I would include Usher in here somewhere. I'm gonna say Usher at 8. I'll take. It's tough for me because I'm not trying to be biased. Number 9, I'm gonna say Eminem because I feel like he still had to go. Eminem still.
He sold the most records in 2000.
Eminem is Eminem. So
yeah, like
number 9 is Eminem, and number 10 is whoever you want to put in there. I may say The Weeknd or a Bruno Mars for sure.
Number 1, I probably would have Beyonce at number 1.
Okay.
I think I would go Rihanna at 2.
Okay, fair.
I think I would put Chris Brown at 3. Honestly, I think Chris Brown is top 3.
Yeah, 21st century. Like you saying.
I'm gonna go Jay and Ye at 4 and 5. Drake at 6. And Drake probably could make the 5. This is probably just being biased, but I think Drake could make the 5 easily. So Drake is 6. I'm gonna put M at 7. Usher's 8. Usher's 8. That's no. I'm gonna put Mariah Carey at 8. Usher's 9. 10.
That's a good one.
Yeah, 10.
That's a good one to put in there.
Yeah, at 10. That's probably when I would go Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Because I do think she's top 10.
She is top 10.
Whether you don't like her or not.
Yeah, I didn't include her in the top 10. That's because I'm personally speaking, but she is in the top 10 no matter what. I do think
objectively she's top 10.
Where I do think it gets tough is between Justin Bieber, Bruno Mars, and Weeknd.
Yeah.
Because if we looking at 21st century, Justin Bieber was, come on now. I don't want to not give him his credit. Justin Bieber was him. For a very long time. Before we get into Bruno Mars and The Weeknd.
He was like the second version of Chris Brown and Rihanna because he came in young. He came in as a teenager. Yeah. Has been doing it for a very long time at a very high level. You know.
It's tough. It's tough.
But yeah.
It is tough.
To not have Chris Brown here is insanity.
It is insane.
I'm sorry. That's insanity.
It is insane.
You look at what he just did recently. He's like the number 1 male act for Billboard 100 entries, platinum songs. And
then for Wayne, bro, Wayne is eclipsed. That's something nobody's ever done. 22 consecutive years on the top 100. 22 consecutive years on the top 100.
I think he outdid Elvis 1 year or something.
Stop playing, bro. It's no way Wayne for me is not in the top 10. I know
he outdid Elvis 1 year. I think it was 2008. He had like over 100 something records more than Elvis, something like that.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop overlooking.
Like rap, I think this list does need to include more rappers. I'm sorry. Because you have to talk about, like, rap has been the number 1 genre. And I get pop is incredible, so you have to include your pop artists. But I'm like, yo, man, you got to give rap more of its due.
You got artists like Kanye and Wayne that cross genres, bro.
Yeah,
and like Drake that cross genres. So it wasn't even just rap. Like, we got introduced to, with Kanye and Wayne in a certain period of time where it wasn't popular to listen to rap. To rock or certain pop music, or you know what I'm saying, they crossed genres where they brought Blink
182,
and
we need to make a top 10 of white people songs that we used to like, because white people don't crank like they used to anymore.
For sure,
white people do not crank like they used to. White people used to crank.
Like,
I got plenty of heat in my phone. I'll be cranking from
Maroon
the Madden
5.
days.
Maroon 5 should be in this too. I don't know, not top 10, but they should be in there.
Man,
for sure.
Hey There Delilah. Freaking
I'm curious to see where Outkast will be on this too.
Yeah,
I'm just curious to see. It's a list. You gotta look at the whole list when you get a chance.
You gotta think of when did the 21st century start? Like what years counts the 21st century?
You can say 2000, right?
I think it's before that.
21st century will be 2000s, right? I think 21st century starts from the 2000s because it's a century. I could be wrong.
What year?
How long is a century?
100 years.
That's a good question. 100 years is a century.
That's a millennium. You're right. 21st century.
I think the millennial as far as
2001.
Okay, so
all right. So from 2001 above
right now,
I think our list is still pretty valid because you still even though guys like Jay and Wayne started before that, they still had incredible years as musicians from 2001 up. Same with Eminem, same with Drake. I'm like, yo, man, like 2001. That's why I'm at. That's why I'm like, I don't have Usher above some of these guys because I'm like, you got to talk about the totality of this man's career. Like, yes, the last 10 years of your career has looked great. If I'm taking your career versus his career, I'm taking Usher before I take Bruno, and I love Bruno.
I get that.
2001. So now, like Chris Brown's 1,000% top 5.
For sure.
1,000%.
I agree.
I looked at this one thing on Instagram the other day. It was all these songs turned 20 this year. Run It is on there. Ponder Replay's on there.
Give me that. Come on,
freaking It's a lot of songs from 2020 this year. I'm like, dang, all these songs crank. It's ones that I forgot about. They played. I was like, I forgot about this song. Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got. I said, yo, this joint, I forgot about this song. This joint crank.
2000s had the best low.
I was like, this really crank. But yeah, man, like 21st century. That's what. Excuse me. That's what blew me about this list. I was like, hold on, because some of this is recency. Because I'm like, if we talk about the whole 21st century, then some of these guys do not eclipse some of these other guys.
That's 25 years of the date.
Yeah, like it's just not. That was my thing.
Our list is violent. Another amazing episode of the Feuds on View podcast, man. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, man. Much love. Another amazing podcast, man. Make sure you tap in. Yes, sir.
Yeah.